Are you in sales? Maybe you're selling real estate, maybe insurance, or your coaching program. Are you getting to that place where you're getting frustrated and burnt out, and you know that you have a good product? You know you have a good service that will really help people, that will have some big impact in the world with your audience, but they're not buying. This is very frustrating. There's so many people who have the potential to be amazing in their sales. But you have to understand how to sell, because people do want to buy, but they don't want to be sold to. They don't want somebody who is pushy and trying to convince them, and it just really gives pushback, and they get defensive and suspicious of you because you're trying too hard. I'm going to be sharing with you the 5-point sales system to really help you to convert your sales to be more profitable, more effective, more productive, where you're not just trying to over-explain yourself and feeling needy or pushy, because I know that you don't want to feel like that. I have found that a lot of my clients, they have good products and service that will truly help other people, but they don't have a sales system, and because of that, they get in their head. They get all insecure. They get like, oh, I don't want to be that guy or that girl that just sounds pushy and needy. I don't want to be that person, right? And because of that, they have this insecurity in them. And the potential clients, they can feel when you're not certain about it. People's most favorite topic is themselves. They want to know what's in it for them if you're going to be selling something. So if you go into making it about you, what you've been doing, make it about your product and your service and the history of it right away, they're not going to want to hear it. So you want to get into their minds, make them feel understood as fast as you can. You see, the power of sales is making them feel understood, not you understanding them, because there's a big difference between you understanding your potential client versus them actually feeling understood by you. And that's where the power is. So this 5-point sales system is going to help you to be able to sell with more ease. So here are the 5 points, okay? Number 1, pain points. Number 2, number 1 solution. Number 3, share a short story. Number 4, data and statistics. And number 5, make the offer plus a bonus plus a no-risk guarantee. And you can use this whether it's on text message, you can use the same system. If you're gonna sell through text blast, you can use the same system, or an email, or a video, or face-to-face with the client, or on the phone, over the phone with some phone sales. You see, when I started using this myself, before there was like a negotiation after when I would bring the price, or they would ask for discounts. But now that I use this process, there is no flinching when I make the offer. When I say the price, they don't flinch, they don't try to negotiate, they don't ask for discounts, because I've already gone through these 5 things in a way where they are fully clear. Okay, so number 1, what is it? Pain points and ambition. So right away, you want to get into their minds, into their lives. Don't make it about you, your story, your product story, the history. Don't make it into that, because everybody's favorite station is WIIFM. What's in it for me? They want to know what's in it for them. So you want to get into them, make them feel understood. And especially when you're going to make it about them in a way where you're going to prevent pain from them, like you're going to help them to prevent pain. Now you got their interest. If you're gonna help them to achieve their ambitions, now you got their interest. So that's what this first one is about, this first point. You wanna get here ASAP. You wanna get here as quick as you can to where you're making it like, okay, you can ask a couple qualifying questions. Do you have this? Or have you ever experienced this? Or are you looking to do this? Once you ask those qualifying questions, you need to ask, do you suffer with this? This is the pain points. So yeah, a lot of times people will suffer, they struggle, the obstacles, the resistance, the fears that they go through. You want to make it about those things as quick as you can. So let me give you an example of a client that hired me. I had a sales team for car insurance hire me. And I want to go train this team, and I started to ask them, okay, what is the main pain that your clients can go through if they don't hire you? Right, so they started to tell me, started to write all these things on the whiteboard, all these different examples of the stresses, the fears, the pain, the obstacles that their potential clients go through. And one of the main ones that really got my attention is them having to pay out of their own pockets. So if somebody gets in an accident, they have to make a claim, right? They want to go to who's insuring them to pay out for them. But a lot of times during that time when they need their insurance the most, they find out that it's not covered, and they have to get out their own wallet and pay out of their own pocket with their hard-earned money that they had. And all this time they thought they were protected, they thought they were secure because of the insurance, but it wasn't true. So that's a huge pain point right there. So I told them, like, okay, let's get to that right away. You start to share with them one of the pain points, like, look, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we get a lot of people who call us And at this time where they need their carrier, they need their insurance the most, they find out that they have to pay out of their own pocket. They hit their pain point, they got their attention. Then they go to number 2. What was number 2? The number 1 solution, right? So that's why, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I want to educate you. I want to share with you what is the best policy for you to make sure that you are covered at the time of an accident. That's the number 1 solution. Me making sure I educate you. You know exactly what's going on with your policy to make sure to give you security and certainty that you will be covered at a time of an accident. That's the number 1 solution. Then you go into what? Share a short story. For an example, I had a client just call me last week, and I'm not saying to make this up, have some real stories, whether it's your own story or a client story or maybe somebody else in your company, you heard a story. Don't make it up, share a real story, right? So I told them to say something like this, which was true for them. So just for an example, last week, I had a client call me and they were so frustrated because they had to pay out of their own pocket. So as they were talking to me, they're like, I just want to make sure that I'm covered at the time of an accident because I just had this experience where I had to pay out of my own pocket. And I started to educate them and share with them what it is to be fully covered for what their needs were. And they had just such a peace over them because now they knew with certainty that they were going to be covered. That's talking to them about a story that will really help them to see the number 1 solution that you're about to offer to prevent the pain that they had experienced already. Then you go into some data. So what was the data for them? Some statistics. Then you say into the conversation, I had them say this, like, did you know that actually 1 out of 8 drivers around you are uninsured? So think about that, 1 out of 8. So one of those people hits you, that's gonna, really bring more of a bigger claim, which can bring more money out of your pocket. So that's just a statistic that you need to look up according to what you're selling, where you're selling it, who your audience is, so that you have some really good numbers there because it makes it more credible for you when you're about to make your offer, which is next. So you already went through the pain point. You already shared the number 1 solution. You already shared a quick short story that ties to that. And then you shared some data, some statistics that will help you be more credible about what you're about to offer. Now you make an offer. Right? So now you make an offer, and if you can tie some kind of bonus to it, that makes it even more juicy, right? And sometimes, in some companies that I'm working with, they don't really have a bonus they can put in, but most of the time they do. And then you put into a no-risk guarantee. So if you don't like this service, then I'm willing to give you all your money back. That's something that you can offer if you can. Some companies can't. So depending on what you're offering, what your service is, if you can get all 3 of those things, you make your offer, you add a bonus and a no-risk guarantee, man, you're just taking away all the different fears and limitations that are in their mind about buying from you. That's the 5-point system. So you can use this when you're selling homes, right? What is the pain point when it comes to your clients if they don't have you as a sales agent, as a real estate agent or a real estate broker? If they don't have you and your company, what's the possible pain that they can go through? They can have another agent take advantage of them, or they go into a house that, there's some things that are messed up and it wasn't inspected right, and because of that, they have to put in money after they just put their hard-earned money in. This is a big decision for their lives, right? For their families, for their futures, and they have so much fear there of making the wrong decision because they don't want to buy a house that's messed up. They want to buy a house that they can build their family and their future in. So there's a lot of fear there. There's a lot of issues that you can tap into when it comes to pain points. And then you go into the number 1 solution. What's the number 1 solution for you as a real estate agent? You see, for me, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I make sure that I'm very thorough. I have an inspector come in to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the house. I am there with them. I follow through the whole thing. I'm holding you by your hand, answering all your questions. I am here whenever you have any kind of concerns. I am going to be here for you. The number 1 solution is going to be you, your expertise, your support, your knowledge. That's going to help them to make the right decision, right? You have to communicate that very clear. Then number 3, share some kind of story, some kind of quick story that relates to that of how you prevented pain from somebody else who was going to make the wrong decision. And because you came in, you shared something, you showed them something, they're like, wow, I didn't see that. I'm so glad that you were here. I'm so glad that you educated me in this and prevented me from making a bad decision and buying this home and creating a whole different problem for me and my family. Share some kind of story there. It can be a testimonial of something that you did. Maybe somebody was trying to go through getting their home and it was taking too long, and then they came to you and you helped them to push it through a lot faster. Share some kind of story that you have, whether it's something that you went through, something that one of your clients went through, something that, someone in your office that they have shared with you. Share a story that relates with them. And then you get into some statistics, some data. In your industry, where you live, with your audience that you're looking to sell to, what are some statistics, some data that you can share with them of like how many people make the wrong decision? How many people buy a house and then afterward they find out that they have to put more money into fixing the house before they even get into it? Share some data and then make your offer. If you can put a bonus on there, maybe you can give the inspection with a discounted price because you built a relationship with the inspectors, or maybe even do it for free and you kind of put it into the price. There's so many different things that you can do there. Then you start to make your offer and they know that you're the right person to be with because you've gone through this 5-point system. You can use this in selling anything. The most powerful thing that you have to make this sale is to make them feel understood. And again, it's not about you understanding them, it's about you making them feel understood, because when they feel understood by you, they're gonna be like, man, Richard gets it. He's the right one that I need to work with. He's the right, real estate agent. He's the right sales agent. He's the right person that's gonna help me because he understands me. He understands what I'm going through. He understands what I need. He understands the solution. He has expertise here. He has a good offer. This is where they feel understood by you, and that is where the sale is made.